Breaking news, Joe Maddon out as manager of the Angels, fired as the Angels are in the midst of a 12-game losing skid. If they lose another tonight, it will tie their longest losing streak in franchise history. But a move that the Angels thought they needed to make with two generational talents on the team, in Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, their postseason hopes in the balance as they have fallen below 500 with the 12 consecutive losses. They've been outscored by 43 runs since May 15th. 0-12 overall, and again, they are in action tonight, but will not have Joe Maddon at the helm any longer. Phil Nevin is going to be the interim manager for the time being for the LA Angels. Let's bring in David Samson, host of Nothing Personal. David, Angels clearly felt like their backs are against the wall here and they needed to make a move. Do you agree with it?
I'm just not sure what's different between right now and a week ago, and then last season, and then before last season. That's my big issue here, Chris, is Artie Moreno was making this move, the owner of the Angels, out of complete desperation. And when you make moves out of desperation, and I've done a lot of them, they generally don't work. Phil Nevin will be a different voice, but the players will be the same players, and the pitching staff will be the same pitching staff.
So, I mean, what should they do? What should they have done? Just ridden this thing out?
Yeah, when you've lost 12 games in a row and you're Artie Moreno, you have to understand his perspective as an owner. He's never been to the World Series. He's got Mike Trout, who's never even won a playoff game, and he goes to owners' meetings, and he's just angry all the time. He's fighting right now with the city council over the land where Angel Stadium is. There's just always something going on, and when they hired Joe Maddon, they thought that he would be the one to get them a World Series ring finally, because it's not like Artie doesn't spend money. He just doesn't normally spend it correctly, and we've been calling for him to get more pitching. So they go into this season and they still don't have enough, but then they're playing well and everybody's excited for them. They've got a best record. They're in first place, but it was a fugazi because it was so early in the season. And now they sit 8.5 games back of the Astros, who are a better team, a game and a half ahead of the Mariners, who are a better team. So the Angels are right where we thought they'd be, but Artie Moreno didn't want to believe it.
Joe Maddon won a World Series in Chicago. He led the Rays to the World Series with, back when he was the manager of the Rays. You've got Mike Trout, you've got Shohei Ohtani. Why didn't it work for this Joe Maddon era, fired midway through his third season?
So Joe Maddon is such an interesting guy. We actually looked at hiring him once when he had not managed the Rays yet. And the reason we didn't hire him is he didn't have experience, and we thought that we wanted to bring in someone with experience. What a big mistake. Right name, just wrong timing. He then goes in, and what he's known for in the clubhouse, very loose. He lets the players be the players. He does fun-themed games, sort of like Phil Jackson-ish, if you will. He's very smart, but he also understands players and when to pull in and when to let loose. Sometimes, though, when you are that way, you're looking for something different, more discipline. You're looking for a firmer hand, like more of a parent than a friend. And I think Artie Moreno said, it's enough of this. It's not working. If we're going to pay Joe Maddon what we're paying him, we better get more victories. But again, he's looking in the wrong place. He's got to be looking at the way his team is formed. It's the money they spent on Rendon. Not worth it, right? They needed to sign pitching. So for me, they just were looking to make this change on a desperate hope, Chris. And you'll see as time passes this season that it will not have worked.
Third base coach Phil Nevin is going to be the interim manager. What are the issues and the obstacles that he's going to face here with this team?
Well, I hope people don't just think of Phil Nevin as the guy who waved in. Of course, I'm going to forget on live TV right now. He was the Yankees third base coach, someone thrown out at the plate. Everyone hates Phil. I've spent time with Phil Nevin. He is a managerial great candidate. He could be a permanent manager, totally different than Joe Maddon. Much more firm, much more strict. I want to say Girardi-esque, but this is sort of a bad week to say that. But he's got to go in and make up that lineup. And it's going to be the same one that Joe Maddon made up. And he's got to fill out who's pitching. It's going to be the same pitchers who Joe Maddon had. So when you make a managerial change like this, you're saying maybe the voice will make the difference because we have the players, but that's only when you have the players. So is Mike Trout going to get another hit, Chris? Of course he is. But Shohei Ohtani is an example. He's not going to repeat what he did last year, and you're seeing that he's not already. So they've got a depth problem.
So, there's no easy fix here, but you've got two of the best players in the league. Some could argue the two best players in the league. What are the Angels missing that will get them to that next level that we have not seen Mike Trout hit, which is getting to the postseason and having success in the postseason?
He hasn't won a game, Chris. Can you imagine what we're saying? It would be like if Michael Jordan went through his whole NBA career and never even won a playoff game. But the difference between basketball and baseball is in basketball, if you have a big three, you're almost guaranteed to have success, assuming one of the big three is not Russell Westbrook, let's say. But in baseball, having a big three is not like that. And what owners talk about at meetings and presidents with GMs is that just signing the big name to the big contract is not going to help you win. And so you look at their playoff drought of just 7 years, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you've got two of the best players and an owner who's impatient, that is interminable. So what I think they need to do is what I've been saying forever, Chris. They need more depth in pitching, and they need better evaluation. Look at what the Yankees are doing, where they're getting performances out of Nestor Cortez and Montgomery and Severino's back, and their starting rotation for now is pitching well. Not good enough to win in October, but they're pitching well. The Angels have not had success like that, where you've said, wow, I've never heard of this guy, and he's pitching to a sub-3 ERA.
They have the Red Sox again tonight after losing the first game of that series last night. They'll look to avoid a 13th consecutive loss, David.
I want to mention the timing of firings matters, and why would you fire your manager when you are playing a really hot team? You want to fire your manager when you're playing a crappy team, and you want to then win games, sort of like in what the Phillies did, right? When they fired Girardi, they ended up winning a bunch of games under Rob Thompson in a row. That's what you're hoping to do. And the Red Sox are playing some of the best baseball right now in all of baseball. So forget what they were a month ago. Right now, they look like a playoff team in the American League East. The timing of it is very, very suspect to me.
David Samson with us here on CBS Sports HQ as the Angels fire Joe Maddon early on in his third season at the helm. David, thank you. You can hear much more from him on the Nothing Personal podcast with David Samson. Download and follow today. Joe Maddon, in his first season, that shortened season of 2020, finished fourth in the division under 500. Fourth in the division under 500 again last season. Really the only full season he had with the LA Angels. And then this season, after a promising start, 10 games over 500, 12-game losing streak, Maddon out.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.